I've been reading the comments this morning on women in AA. A lot of different stuff. A lot of different stuff. You know, I think I said this on a few comments. I started commenting yesterday, and I kept saying the same thing over and over to people. And so I'm going to say it here. You know, I saw something this morning about someone asking us a question about what we thought about her sponsor's behavior. I saw ones about medication, what we think about medication, what we think about this, what we think about that, what we think about boyfriends and jobs. And you know what? We really don't have any opinion as Alcoholics Anonymous on any of your personal stuff. You know, the truth is that, like I've said before, the answers are in the first 164 pages of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. All the answers to all your problems. It says that in the book. And what that means is you need to put this first. You don't understand right now. If you're new, well, I wasn't new. I'd been sober for almost 15 years and I didn't know this. I thought it was about the drinking, and it wasn't. It was about my thinking. Alcoholism is a mental illness, and it demands to be treated. And it's going to be treated one way or another, let me tell you. And if you stop drinking and you have 22 days or something and you're not pursuing some kind of a spiritual answer to treat your alcoholism, you'll find something else. You'll switch addictions. You will start resentments, relationship problems. Your mind will jump all over. You know, it reminds me of those balls when you were a kid, the Velcro balls, and you had a paddle that was Velcro and you threw it back and forth to each other and it would stick to the thing. That's the way my mind is. It wants to stick to anything. It wants anything. Boom, 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 right? Okay, take away my alcohol problems. Well, now I need a job. Take away my alcohol problem, and I need to fix my marriage. I need to lose 20 pounds. I need to quit smoking. I'm all over the board, right? My thinking is just blah, 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 blah. And really, what I need to do is do one thing, and that is a simple program of recovery. And as I work the steps and I go to meetings, listening and hearing for the things that might help me, right? Everything's going to work out. Everything else in my life has fallen in place. And I am telling you this from my own experience. I got sober. I was sober for a long time and I relapsed. I failed to enlarge my spiritual condition. If you're watching me, and a lot of you have contacted me that have a lot of time sober and are really grateful because you've dug out your big book. You haven't seen your book for a long time, right? You're back to basics. I'm happy because if you fail to enlarge your spiritual condition, I don't care how much time you have, you will probably drink and use again, right? It will start with a resentment. It will start with fear. And eventually it's going to make sense to pick up a drink again. Happens all the time. Nowadays, people are deciding, well, I don't want to drink. And they just kill themselves. This mental illness is going to get you one way or another. It's not a joke. This isn't like for me at least, and a lot of people on here, alcoholism is a life and death situation. It will kill me. It almost killed me, right? I lost everything. And it will end up in insanities, in institutions, in jails, right? Death. That's not a joke. So I have to be here. I don't get to, I want to be here. I get to be here, that's for sure, right? I need to do this. I have to enlarge my spiritual condition. So all of those 8 questions that you have are all just diversions, procrastination maybe, from the real thing we're supposed to be doing here. We're supposed to be learning the book. You're supposed to learn the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Go to meetings to do that. Have women explain it to you. Do the steps. And everything else will start working out, I promise. Everything. I'm not saying you're going to get what you want, but it'll all be taken care of, right? But your mind is going to try. Your mind is, the job of your alcoholism right now is to get you loaded and drunk again. That's what it's trying to do. So it's time to get busy in the solution. So For example, there's a lot of you, I've done this now, this is my fourth one. I gave you some clear-cut instructions, suggestions on what I did, what I was told. First thing they taught me to do was my pages, morning and night. How many of you are doing that? How many? I also said get a big book, right? You could get it on Audible, online. They're free right now through AA. We post, a whole bunch of women posted a link to aa.org where you could get the free, I think it's an audio, doesn't matter. I also said you could Google it and start reading and read with me to page 43 so we could do the first step. How many of you are doing that? There are a lot of you because you've been texting me and you've been really excited. But how many? How many really? I mean, here we're on this, we get on a Facebook page and we want help. Help me, help me, help me. I'm dying. Okay, this is what I did. You want to do it? Well, you know what? I'm really busy. I got to work. I go to the gym at 5. You know, have you been to a meeting today? Maybe you should go to 2 or 3 meetings when you first get sober. I did. I went to 3 meetings a day while I was working with a sick child. I mean, when I got sober the second time, the luxury, that relapse was horrible. And God, Jesus Christ, I could not make it back. And when I finally made it back, I didn't make it back to rainbows and butterflies. My life was a shit show. My daughter was ill. I had no money. I'd lost everything. She and I were living in a 1-bedroom studio. I had been homeless. I put her off with family to live with her family. So it's a horrible story, right? That's why I'm doing this. I don't want anyone to have to do that. And I got sober and I got a job, and you know, they had to pay me cash because I couldn't get a checking account because I owed the IRS over $100,000. I owed the state over $75,000. I owed so many people money. I had no credit, right? I mean, it was horrible. I was working this job and I was going to 3 meetings a day. I went at 7 a.m. I took her to school, went to a 7 a.m. meeting, went to work, left there at noon, went to a meeting at noon, went back to work. After work, I went straight to a 5:30, went to the 5:30 meeting. Someone had picked her up, dropped her off. She'd be doing homework. I'd come home, pick her up. I'd have to drive her around and because she was sick. And so we had all this shit to do. I mean, it was hard. That was when I got my 24-hour chip. So I didn't get like a luxury of sitting in treatment or anything like that. I mean, I got busy like right now. So, and my life and her life depended on it. So what I'm asking you is, are you reading the book? Yesterday I talked to you a little bit about the doctor's opinion, and I asked you to make sure you're reading that. I don't know if you did or not. But this is the difference between people that get sober and stay sober and people that don't. And if you're relapsing over and over, if you're quitting drinking and then you get loaded again, you get drunk again, and you don't know why, you're probably not trying to treat your alcoholism. You have to treat it every day. Okay? It's not a lot. It's got to be a priority. If you understood that it was trying to kill you, if you had diabetes and they told you to go to dialysis 3 times a week or you're going to die, I guarantee you'd make the appointments. The problem is you might not think you're really that sick. You might think it's the alcohol and that you don't have alcoholism. Only you can decide. Only you can decide. I can't tell you if you're alcoholic or not. No one can. So you need to make a decision. Are you doing the pages in the morning at night? It takes minutes, right? Minutes. Someone texted me yesterday and said, this is changing my day. I had the best day, and I think it's because I read those stupid pages, right? It took me 5 minutes. That's it. You do the work, God brings the rest, right? You got to show up. You got to, we seek God. We look for God. That's where you find Him, right? So it's an action program. This program is not for people that want it. It's not even for people that need it. It's for people that do it. So you got to make a decision. Are you doing it? Are we going to read to 43? It's the biggest reading of all the steps, but still, I'm telling you, my life was so fucked up that if you would have told me to run naked down the main street and I'd stay sober, I would have done it. I was desperate to give me an answer. And I see people on here all day long. Please help me. Please help me. Please help me. Okay, these women are trying to give you help. Are you taking direction? Are you doing what they say? What Zoom meeting are you going to today? That should be planned out ahead of time. And let your family know. At 9:30, I go to a meeting. That's what I do. If you're new, you're going to have to do that. And it becomes like second, I don't know what that saying is. Second nature. It comes second nature to you that's what you do. Like for me, I go to 2 meetings a day. I go to a 7 a.m. and a 5:30. On the weekends at 9:30, right? That's just what I do. Everybody in my world knows I do that. They don't necessarily know it's AA, but they know I'm not available during that time. And I just do it. And then it's like, I don't know. It just becomes part of my spiritual routine, right? Prayer and helping others is really the ticket. But I got to do this daily maintenance. I got to get up and do my pages, hit a meeting, see if I can be helpful, and then I do my pages at night, right? And I'm able to stay sober without a lobotomy, without some kind of transfusion, right? Not millions of dollars of therapy. I'm able to stay sober because I have a program of action. And that's what I'm outlining for you. See, I didn't even get to talk about Bill's story. I'll have to do that later. But I really want you to understand that if you don't know why you can't stay sober, this is why. The people that are staying sober, that you see, they put their chips up. I got 1 year today. I got 5 years today. You see their little chips. Yay, I made it to 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. You know how they did it? They treated their alcoholism every day. Every day. Right? They remember they're alcoholics and they do something every day for their, and depending on how sick they are, they might not have to do what I do. I have to do a lot. But I think that's because of my relapse. People with long-term sobriety that relapse, I think it's harder to make it back because you've got all this head thinking, like so, and I don't know. This is what I kind of just go with this. And it works. I think it worked for everyone on the planet, even if you're not alcoholic. So even if you don't think you're alcoholic, do the steps. Why not? It couldn't hurt. I mean, in this day and age, and it's free. It's for fun and for free. All right? So I'll talk to you a little bit later, and I'll talk about Bill's story. I'm trying to kind of talk to you as you read through this. Because there's some really important points, and it's really interesting. People get stuck on the old school verbiage, but really, look for the alcoholism. Bill's story is amazing. I'll talk about it a little bit later. Love you all. Bye.